So with that, I'm happy to introduce Kelly Doody, infamous Calgarian, founder and CEO of The Social School, and she will introduce our speakers and get the content rolling. So Kelly, over to you.
Thank you, Megan. Hello, everybody. Thank goodness it's Friday. I'm not sure what month it is anymore, but we're all in it together. We've had such wonderful leadership from places like CED and a number of partners. We're seeing really neat campaigns come to life of neighbors supporting neighbors, right from the business improvement areas up to the very top levels of government. So we're trying to stay as positive as we possibly can, and I'm sure you're doing the exact same. There is no shortage of challenges right now for all of us. And rest assured that even those of us you're going to hear from today that have so-called digital or future-friendly businesses, I'm sure Nick and Scott and also Emily from Tea Kombucha would agree with me when we say that we're also pivoting, changing. There is so much happening right now that is tough to navigate for all of us. So it can be overwhelming. There's so many solutions and ideas being thrown out there, everything from how to live stream to, oh my God, get your business completely online and sell to India. But our goal today is to try and make it not overwhelming and to paint a picture for you of what's possible, from awesome website services to payment gateways to just how to get found in the first place. So I'm really honored to be here, and thank you so much to Calgary Economic Development for pulling this together in such short order. It's awesome. I'm going to kick things off with a few thoughts from Social School and from our tested community of small businesses and entrepreneurs, and what we're really finding to be working in the winning website formula, and how to transition more towards e-commerce if you're not already. And then I'm going to toss to Nick, who is someone I admire like crazy. Helsum is a made in Calgary payment gateway solution that is a game changer. I barely know Nick, but I will tell you completely honestly that when we switched to Helsum last year at Social School, we stopped having to fight for payments. We were having failures all the time. We were just constantly apologizing to our customers around the world. And Helsum's amazing. I'm not just saying that. And they're just saving us thousands of dollars in our fees with credit card transactions. So thank you in advance to Nick for being here as well. And then Scott, I just met last week. Shoptoit is an incredible, again, made in Calgary, Google My Business and Google search solution that automates it and makes it affordable. And to be honest, when I learned more about him and his offering, I was like, well, there's no need for my Google Ads course anymore because Scott's making it easy. But either way, we're going to hear from him at the end and try and tie it all together. We've got a Q&A going on that, as Chad just reminded us, can be directly typed into the chat box as you go or as we go. We'll try to get to them throughout. And as I'm speaking, I think the others will be answering and vice versa. And then anything that we can do live in terms of answering your questions or further thoughts at the end of this presentation, the formal piece, we're all ears for it. So I think we're all very searchable after the fact as well. You'll be getting these slides, as Megan said, and probably some replay videos if you need it. So I get to kick things off with what I'm going to be calling, again, winning websites for sure, and that e-commerce, what you need to know for business continuity piece. I'm going to try not to go too fast here, but this is just such an exciting opportunity for us to talk about, best practices on website as well as that selling online piece. I'm going to tell you a quick story. 10 years ago, I was a full-time journalist for the Calgary Sun and then the Calgary Herald. And it was at a time where, media and journalism was really, really exciting. It was fun. It was fast. It was just like so creative. But it changed really quickly. I would almost say overnight. It went from being this buzzing, beautiful environment to being hollowed out newsrooms. And so I didn't have a choice. I had to make a change at that time. And so I basically created a PR firm on the side where I could help small businesses who I'd really gotten to know as a full-time journalist tell their story online, both with, media relations, but more so social media. And as I went along as a service provider, only ever making a dime by the hour and realizing I had a real ceiling on my head and young kids and all the rest of it, I wanted to become scalable. So I had to figure out what that looked like. I knew nothing about anything digital. I was a junkie who liked to write. I was a journalist. And it was just one of those real deep dive research projects out of necessity. And about 9 months into researching how to take my service-based business from selling to people that knew me, and I only needed several clients at a time, to an online product-based business where I could sell to strangers on the internet was not easy, but it was the most incredible thing that I've ever done. And I'm so grateful that I put in the time and the grunt work at that time in order to build something. So Social School now, we sell our courses and training programs around the world, and it's been a real ride. So I'm going to teach you some of the things that I've learned over the last 10 years and talk about some of that, those winning website ideas. So let's start off with the good news. I love this. You might feel like there's no shortage of places you should start, but the cool part about 2020, aside from all the stuff we're dealing with now, is that it's an amazing time to take this on because everything is so user-friendly. 5 years ago, we were custom building everything. 10 years ago, 100% outsourcing to coders and developers. And today, unless you're building some kind of customized software, which most of us aren't, we're drag and dropping our websites, our landing pages, our email automation campaigns together, and we can figure it out just by trying. A bit of learning, a bit of best practice, and then giving it a go. We know that we're having to meet expectations of users that have never been so high maintenance. And you and I are right there with them. If we take off our small business or marketing hat for a minute, we're the consumer that absolutely expects that we're going to be able to find what we need. It's going to be lightning fast, everything from the load to the navigation. It's clear. It's dead easy to understand how you're going to get from point A to point B, and you know what to do when you arrive. Otherwise, you're out. We bounce, we leave, we have no time for that, and we go find it from someone else. So we do have to meet these expectations, but we can. We just have to simplify, prioritize, and then ask for feedback as we go. So I'm going to take you through a few things here. First of all, mobile friendliness. This is really important when you're considering any kind of improvement to your current site, maybe just the building of a landing page for a specific campaign or an entirely new e-commerce piece. We've got to consider how friendly we actually are. And this is eye-opening. I've pulled this from my Google Analytics, but you can run a quick, just Google mobile friendly score. You'll find a test there. And you'll quickly see how much your users are changing, if in fact you are measuring or you have a live site. And we're seeing this increase quarterly, and it's not going away. Our users are on desktop and mobile like never before, and we're having to take this into account not only with our builds and our offering and our ads, but also when it comes to our SEO optimization, which Scott can really help with from a paid search and an organic search standpoint. But can they find us on their Siri search where they're getting one search results from an audio search, which is going to be 85% of all search by 2025, or on their mobile phone where they get 3 results. So remember, this is important. We need to think about how we're loading up and how clear we are when they get there. This is my favorite line. A contractor who was renovating my basement said this to me like 20 years ago. And I was like, he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Beams versus columns, Kelly. Go read a course on construction. If you confuse people, you lose people. It's so applicable today. We know how it feels when you get somewhere and you're like, I have no idea. What are you, a divorce coach or a dog trainer? I can't even tell. And so when someone lands, when you drive them to your site because you've killed it on your social posts or maybe an ad or some live event you ran, you've got them there. Hold them. And do they get this really, really quickly? What you sell and do. Is it crystal clear? Not just to me, but to my grandma. And that's not to say dumb it down. That's to say don't use your weird industry jargon. Use my dummy language. And the content that's supporting that across our feeds, across our website. Less is more. Don't take that 7,000 word diatribe from your wonderful nonprofit's committee run website and try and smash it into a new e-commerce website. It doesn't work. Take note in your own travels. What are you resonating with? It's probably one line and then a subheader or a paragraph at most. Look at the best email marketing notifications that you're getting. Subscribe to Starbucks and Nike and Apple, like not because you're diehard fans of those companies necessarily, but because they're employing the best copywriters, content creators, and storytellers in the world, and they understand attention spans. Tony Robbins' homepages, you don't have to be a Tony Robbins fan to understand that in 3 words, he's leading you in. Our neighbors, Cody and Sue here in Inglewood, Ingrid's got it dialed. Embrace your West. She's not taking her homepage as an opportunity to talk about her and her accolades and how great she is or telling, her tagline. She's making it about you and and making me want more. Dive in. So we're getting our assets in order. And we have lots of courses for this, and there's plenty other copywriters and brilliant photographers, graphic designers that can help you with this, but this is step one. And if you've got those things planned and you're working back from the end of what you do need, building out your website or improving it is a no-brainer. And you don't need 500 photos and 7 pages of copy. You probably need 10 spectacular images, and then you're going to work back from that. We've got a website course that's very, very detailed, and I'm going to tell you about it. And we've got a free 4-week training series that goes deeper into all of this. I know it's a lot. It's a bit overwhelming, but we're trying to just cover some of this basic stuff. So when you use integrations wisely, what am I talking about with integrations? Well, we've all seen them, and this is where things become really powerful. But they're not automation that keeps us from having to talk to a human, because we all hate that. And that is no longer what automation is for. It is to get them to their goal and us to ours. We're helping them get there sooner. A chatbot is not an enemy. It's a fantastic thing when used well, and you're segmenting or starting to get people closer to the right answer faster, or get them something immediately. We use Pure Chat on our website. You've probably seen a lot of little chat bots or little notation or quotation windows at the bottom of websites. And it's so great in real time to help your customers. For me, I think no matter how big or small our team is at any given time, why would I not show up with the help of an app, Pure Chat? When I get a quick little ping, it's like answering the phone. Yeah, you're ready to buy? I'd be an idiot not to be there for you to help you get that transaction completed. Number 2, pop-ups and list building tools. Sumo is a fantastic provider. I've used it for years. Now I've switched to Kajabi because I can have everything all in one, which I'll show you in a second. But these can be great if done tastefully and not offensively. They can be in the bottom corner and pop up. They can appear just as you're about to exit that window. They're amazing. And I'll tell you, we've had like 500% increase in our list building, or our list, which we use religiously as our email marketing tactic to connect and communicate and keep people in the loop. And it's our #1 converting digital tool, email marketing. So this is where we build it. List building tools can be really great. They can have an offer attached to them, which is even better. Give people a reason to subscribe and stick around. Stay in touch with them when they do. The third piece here is landing pages. What's a landing page? It's like a microsite. It gets you right to the point. I'm not having to see your big nav bar at the top. I don't see your pop-ups or your sidebar or all the distractions that take me back to your Instagram feed, which don't do it. You got them there. Don't let them leave. But it's one call to action. It's a simple, seamless way for me to take the action that you just told me about in that paid ad. We're using on the right side Kajabi to build our landing pages like crazy now. They're attached to web forms, email follow-ups. It's really incredible. That one on the side there is our Take Your Business Online training series, which I'll tell you about in a second, our free 4-week series. So the content management systems, this is where I'm hitting the finish line here, I promise. I'm going to tell you about a few of these CMS, or essentially dashboard, user-friendly website, do-it-yourself tools that we have fallen in love with and that have come really, really far. You've probably seen new commercials for Wix, or if you're targeted by marketing software like I am, and they've come a long way. It's always been a very entry-level, quite rudimentary platform, but it's getting better. Squarespace, it's a wonderful form meets function opportunity. I've always built in Squarespace. We run Squarespace classes. It was my favorite until I met Kajabi, but it's beautiful. If you're on Squarespace, you can do e-commerce. You can run all sorts of email automation and marketing now. It's affordable. It's great. WordPress, I would caution. 90% of the sites on the internet are built on WordPress, but it's become a lot more expensive and more difficult for small businesses to maintain. I will tell you that full stop. So unless you're really able to double down on resources and time and execution, I would highly suggest something a little friendlier. Shopify, awesome. We had a gal on our conference for the last 2 days from Shopify, and she was just wowing us with some of their new integrations and marketing tools built in. It's come a long way. It hasn't been awesome in the past in that there's limited customization, but you can connect your products in Shopify to your parent website. You can fire up a Shopify website separately from your existing site if you want, or have it take over everything for you. And then that final one that I'm really loving right now is Kajabi, because you can build website, landing page funnels, so sales funnels that move people along, email automation, pop-ups, and now I've cut out literally $1,000 worth of WordPress memberships, pop-up software in order to get to a $200 a month Kajabi membership. I know that sounds like a lot, but you guys, this is our #1 tool. People say to me, why is Squarespace $30 a month? And I'm like, well, because it's your everything. It's not free, but it's also affordable. And if we pick our other solutions and software wisely, we realize that we're winning. If you're ready to dive in, I'll put these in the chat. There's a free 28-day trial if you want to start playing with Kajabi if you're interested. Otherwise, I encourage you to sign up for our 4-week training, Grow Your Online Business. That's our offer today. We're like, what else can we do in the part of our Social School Small Business Success Fund that we launched in March to help with COVID? And this is our next step, free 4 weeks of training. And there it is. That's what we're covering each week. So how to package up your expertise. If you're a product, how can you sell a service? If you're a service, how can you sell a product, or vice versa, each of the same? And we'll be giving out a lot of resources and tools and templates in that. So the link's up, and we'd love to have you join us. And that takes me to the end. I know that was a lot, and I do apologize. I'm really excited to hear from Nick, who is probably going to talk slower and be less confusing than I am. But he's got all the ideas and insights on how to connect it. He is a brilliant guy, but he's going to talk our language and make us excited about what Helsum's got. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to pass it over to Nick.
Hey, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Oh, yeah, thumbs up. I see a thumbs up. Good. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you, Kelly. I don't know if I deserve all the compliments that went our way, but we'll talk a little bit about what we offer and how we're trying to help during this time of COVID. So everybody can see my screen? Yes. One more thumbs up, and I'll stop asking for thumbs up. Perfect. So Helsum is a payments company. So we're a Calgary-based company. Think of us as a competitor to Monaire, TD, to Stripe, Square, and PayPal. So we offer payments. We service businesses across Canada and the US, and we've definitely felt the impact of COVID and what it's doing to our small, medium-sized business customers. So what I'd like to talk about today, and I'll keep it pretty short, is just the different ways that we've seen small businesses get creative about how to keep accepting payments. What's interesting right now is that it's a strange economic problem because people are still looking to purchase. People are still looking to do business. There's just a problem with actually with supply in terms of actually going to that location or going to the store and doing that. So all of our merchants get a package called Helsum Commerce included with their account. And there's a number of ways that you can use that. Now, a lot of our customers typically use our credit debit machines, which you can see in the bottom right corner, but there's all this other functionality that we're trying to encourage people to use that's built in for free to try to find different ways to accept payments. So some of that includes we have a virtual terminal. So that's essentially a screen that you can go and punch in a credit card. So if you're taking orders over the phone and people are coming to pick up, or you're doing contactless curbside pickup, you can just punch in the credit card and get an approval and send them an email receipt. We've also have online invoicing. So essentially you can create an invoice just like you can with QuickBooks or Xero or any other software. And it's built in. So you can create an invoice, send it to your customer, and then the payments are right there. So when they're ready to pay, they can just enter their credit card information and you'll receive a receipt and they'll get a receipt. Another feature that people have been using is something called the hosted payment pages. So think of it similar to a PayPal buy button. So you can create a little button on your website. A lot of times people, they're trying to find solutions right now just to get the payments going, just get the flow of commerce going, and they don't want to redo their entire website. So they just want to create a little buy button or a little order online button, and they can do that with the payment pages. And then finally, we do have a online store. it allows you to host an e-commerce website and accept payments through there. And one thing we're actually, and I'll move on to my next slide, one thing we're actually doing right now is we put together an emergency team of programmers to do a revamp on the online store so we can start offering quick order mode. So that's something that's going to be released at the end of April. We've been programming day and night on it. And essentially what it will do is allow you to, this will be more focused towards food-based businesses, restaurants and liquor stores and breweries and so on, where they want to let people accept payments through, as a quick way for them to process payments online. A lot of people are looking at different food ordering apps and things like that. And when you look at the 20-30% that they charge, it's a pretty hard pill to swallow for a lot of merchants, especially right now when they're feeling so squeezed. And so we want to put together something that was free, that allowed them to quickly get orders, and that'll be coming out soon. So we're pretty excited for that. If you have any questions about that, we'll put our contact information in the comments. So finally, in terms of what makes Helsum quite different from a lot of the competitors I mentioned is our pricing. We're really focused on transparency, and when it comes to the credit card processing world, not every business is, or not every processor is super transparent. It can be a pretty notorious industry, and we've built our reputation on being honest and offering great rates. So we do something called Interchange plus pricing, and what allows us to do is essentially pass on the true cost of Visa MasterCard directly onto you, and you get to have a much lower processing rate. So typically our merchants online are in the 2.2, 2.3, 2.4% range, which is a lot lower than what's typically out there in the market. So that's Helsum in a nutshell. We certainly encourage you to contact us. We're also, we're going to be publishing this soon. We also have a special package we're putting together for businesses that are impacted by COVID, where we're waiving our monthly fee to try to help out. That's not on our website just yet, but just send us an email and we'll share information about that. So that's Helsum. Just we'll put the comments there in terms of how to reach us. And yeah, back to you, Kelly.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Okay, very cool. If anyone has any questions for Nick, and I'm going to admit right now, we were desperately needing a solution for just our payment gateway, because we're being just totally taken, I think, advantage of with some of our fees through our American provider. But Helsum, I'm just on your website learning more about your actual e-commerce offering, that you would build a site, like you guys have an actual website builder as well.
Oh,
right.
Yes, we do. Yeah. So it is. It's definitely e-commerce focused. So unlike something like a Squarespace, which allows you to make lots of custom pages, and that's really to replace your entire website, our offering is really about doing transactions. So it's really about getting your product catalog online, dealing with your taxes and shipping integration, your checkout, and it's just a way. We're really focused on facilitating that transaction flow.
Okay, amazing. That's great. If anyone has any questions for Nick, by all means, please just put them in the chat. He's going to be, like Amy's asking, can Helsum be integrated with Shopify? Awesome. Tina's asking if Helsum offers fulfillment as well. So Nick's going to pop into the chat and answer those questions and anything else you may have for him. I'm going to tee it up here for Scott to take us through e-commerce. So Shoptoit is a really, sorry, not e-commerce, to take us through search and Google My Business. Shoptoit has a lot to offer, and they've basically generously created a little package for us too to all take advantage of. So I'll pop that link in the chat, and I'm going to hand it over to Scott.
Okay, hello everybody. Just getting the right screen for you. And Kelly, maybe you can let me know that it is the right screen when it's up.
Looks great.
Okay, so let me just start by saying we put an offer together with the Calgary Economic Development Corporation, our group. So anyone can have it. You can pass it along to any of your friends. It's $480 value. It's 2 years free, no credit card, no anything. Helps you get found in Google local search. Now I'm going to tell you why you might want to consider caring about that and how it works. So, and then we'll answer questions after. As we all know, for a local business, Google has really emerged as being the biggest driver of new consumers. And it represents a massive opportunity for a small business to compete side by side with much bigger companies and get found. Because today, when a consumer is looking for a product or service, they go to Google. They're typically on their phone, as Kelly has put forward earlier. And Google helps them find what they're looking for. So Google is in the business of introducing searchers to businesses to solve the needs of the searcher. Now, the tricky thing about that is consumer behavior is also that we are impatient and we only really look at the first page, whether it's on my phone, my tablet, or my desktop. So if you're not on the first page of a search result in Google, you're kind of invisible. They say you can bury a body on the second page of Google. No one will find it. So what is the first page? What's on there? Well, a search results page, which is what you see here, consists of ads, which of course get the top real estate. It's Google's, cash cow, if you will. And what's called organic or free or natural listings, which are made up of business listings as well as relevant website listings. Oftentimes you may have heard of this called search engine optimization. How do you optimize your site to get up there? And really, we're going to focus on what's called local search from Google, which is based on maps, which is powered by a service called Google My Business, or GMB. Now, the local search results consist, again, ads and organic or natural listings. So the ads come from the same search keyword advertising that happens on a main search results page. And the organic for maps or Google My Business comes from this GMB and making sure that you're doing it right and properly. So Google has a rank for your business, and that rank is fluid and in real time. And whenever Google shows content, that is not the ads, which are done on an auction, they do so on a ranking system. So Google is intently focused on the search experience. You can switch from Google and go to any other search engine. It seems ludicrous, but right now for product search, Amazon recently in the last quarter beat Google for the first time as where the origination of search for products occurs. So Google, you can switch easy. They stole it from Yahoo. Amazon's trying to steal it from them. So they need that experience to be great. Now, what is great? Great to Google is accurate. So what's accurate? Well, it's updated and verifiable information about your business. So as a business, you can increase your rank and consequently the amount of new customers you'll get by Google by improving your Google rank. So how do you do that? Well, in Google My Business, there's some crucial elements to receiving a high rank. They call them presence, reputation, outreach, and communication. So once you're verified and your listing is complete and you're posting, is there any feedback coming to you from reviews, which is currently shut down by Google, but soon to be relaunched? Is there questions? Are consumers engaging with you? All these elements determine where Google will rank you. Consequently, what order you'll be showed in compared to your competitors for a similar search. In this particular case, this is a report that we run. It's included in our free offer. You'll get one of these reports just showing you where your improvement areas might lie. But this is a marketing services company in, I don't know, Crisfield, Maryland. That might be important on the next slide, but I don't know where Crisfield, Maryland is. But on this scan, you can get an idea of some of the things you can improve. You don't have photos. You're not getting reviews. You're not doing some of the things that Google requires for you to get ranked higher, that feedback loop. So when a searcher goes into Google and does a search for marketing service providers in Maryland, they get these results. They get a whole bunch of ads, they get maps, and below that, they get website or organic rankings. So you can see this particular business who had a 14% score, according to our test, just doesn't show up anywhere on the first page. They're not buying ads. They're not in the maps in the top 20. There's 196 people in the maps vying for this searcher. So this company is invisible to that searcher. Now that's an in-market buyer who's actively looking for someone to help them. You cannot get a better introduction than that introduction. So Google My Business is actually part social media and part search. And that means that anyone can modify a business listing. Anyone can go in there and say, this business is currently closed, or this business wasn't open, or they can give you a review on the business, or they can answer a question or upload a photo about your business. And you kind of got to really pay attention to that. So not only does Google on the search side really change all the time how they rank businesses, you also have the ability for a third party, any third party, to modify your ranking. So if you're not paying attention to your Google My Business listing, you really should, because it can cause damage as well as decrease the ability for you to get these free new customers. So what you need to do is log into your Google My Business listing, which is a free service from Google, claim and verify your business, make sure there's no duplicate representations of your business, and get started. You need to have an accurate address formatted properly. You need your contact information, your current hours of operation, the status of your business, particularly today, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And you need to update it and check on it frequently to make sure it's still accurate. So there's a critical new tool that's emerged from Google called Posts. It's not really new, but it's become highlighted. As Google has shut down the ability for third-party people to really engage with your business listing, they have also created and highlighted the ability for you to reach out through a post and connect directly with a consumer while they're searching. Now, Google is always looking for signals. Is this business engaging with us? Is it giving us information? Is it something that we can reliably tell my searcher to go to because they are open, or they're open for business and able to help? So posts have become a critical thing. Things like, what is your current operating status? Are you temporarily closed? Are you closed? Are you servicing? What are your hours? It's now changing. There's a section for that in Google, but this is becoming a really important part. Things like when you hear both Nick and Kelly talk about offering different ways for a consumer to engage with your business, curbside, pick up in store, buy online, sending, you need a vehicle to be able to tell these searchers, hey, we have that. So you get a double whammy here. You get to talk to a consumer while they're in market directly. And at the same time, Google says, oh, this is a real business. They're currently engaged. Your rank goes up and you start to get more customers just by trying. So very much encourage you to get started and do some of that. So anyone can do this. You can manage your listings manually. You need to claim, verify, make sure you're properly formatted, accurate information, constantly pay attention to your listings, and stay aware of any changes from Google. So another alternative, if you're not going to do that yourself, is to outsource it to a service provider. There's lots of marketing services companies who will do the work for you. Both of these options are pretty expensive from a time or your opportunity cost, or just straight up costs if you outsource it. But they can really deliver excellent results and are worthwhile, particularly as we recover from this. And local search right now is on fire. Everybody is looking, saying, what is the status of my favorite pizza place or my favorite whatever place? And you really need to make an effort to give it what they need easily. And so there's a third option now. And with cloud computing and automation, you've seen it in all different categories. You see it in accounting services, email. We see it in e-commerce. We see it in what Nick is doing. You know, we see it all over the place. Kelly's teaching people how to use these tools. But software is no longer this crazy expensive thing you have to buy and update. It's a thing you rent. And that makes it affordable to any small business. The Shoptoit search platform is a cloud-based piece of software that is exactly that, allowing you to maximize your search results without having to hire a consultant or spend time yourself. Just use software that does it for you. So our tool is modular. So whatever business your needs are, we have a solution to help get you started without any contracts or commitments. It's just a monthly fee, except for what we're giving you today, which is called our Google Starter Kit. So whether it's backlinking and SEO, which is called off-page search optimization, and listings management, like Google My Business, Facebook, things like that, that's all done through computers now, if you're working with Shoptoit. Updates all the time, pings it every, I don't even know how often, but lots, to tell it, this is the accurate source of information. So if a person changes something, your information gets rewritten so that it's always current. We do mobile websites, but we are not in the website business. We are in the, if you are not prepared to go out and spend the time and energy, but you need something functional, here's one for free. And we do full Google ad campaigns. Google is a business. They expect you to pay them. They love you better if you pay them. We manage these campaigns, which are very complicated and complex for you, so you don't have to. And then our Google Starter Kit really is about getting that customer, that business, your business, to understand where they rank in terms of backlinks and search engine optimization, where they rank in terms of Google, how they're doing relative to competitors, and here are some tools that you can use to get that. So that's my whole diatribe. We have, just in closing, again, you can go to either our website and search for the Calgary or CED Google Starter Kit and get a free code that'll give you unlocks it for 2 years. Again, no credit card, no contract, no commitment. We will advise you along the way of other services you could add to jumpstart this process, specifically Google ad campaigns, which for us start at $50 a month. So anyone can afford them and they're immediate. No work on your end. We don't ask any questions. We know about your business. We just turn you live with Google. So the last thing I want to, so go ahead, do this and tell anybody else, like this is for anybody. We don't care if you're in Calgary. We don't care where you are. You're a small business. You're concerned about the recovery. This, I think, can really help. Google's going to be a really important part of it. So the last thing I'll leave you with is make sure you go out today and do something to actually support one of the local businesses in Calgary, because it's paramount to the survival of our little economy here. And we really need to be conscious of that going forward. And that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. You did just give me goosebumps there at the end. I know we're saying it, but as I said to someone the other day, I'm quite convinced that the shop local, buy local is no longer going to be, you know, almost like a, I don't know what else to call it, a guilt trip, a forced campaign. It's like, if nothing else, we've gotten the chance to see really acutely what it means to small businesses or to our economy and our city as a whole, to keep these shops and retailers alive. And I know I'm biased for my community of Inglewood that I work and live in, but it's real. Every small business that an owner or contractor or supplier on this call can probably relate to, and we'd love to hear your stories. If you feel like weighing in, tell us in the chat who you are. Let us follow and support you and weigh in on what you've got to offer. There's some really neat campaigns popping up, as I said at the outset, on just local businesses that are delivering or shifting or, you know, part of the change and the movement that, of course, Calgary Economic Development is constantly talking about, Calgary in the new economy. And that may be less tech forward for the next little while, about like these really future-proof digital businesses and startups and tech companies. And it's about all of us. It's about the businesses that have been here and that are surviving and changing and recognizing that they're going to be very different going forward. But we need to know who's doing what and how to support each other like crazy. So thank you very much, Scott. That was awesome. I put the link in the chat to your very kind offer for your free Google Starter Kit. I can't wait to hear from Emily next, but I just want to first bring up Nick's site here. So Helsum is, as I mentioned, incredible. And there's a lot here. His website is extreme and clear, and I can tell you firsthand that their support is second to none. And it's just so cool to work with a local company when it comes to figuring out your payments. If you've never seen Google My Business, I just brought up our example here, but this is free. Just Google My Business, claim your page. You don't have to have a brick and mortar retail location or in a physical office to flesh out this page. And then Scott's services and what he just talked about is going to make a lot more sense. But this is free. This is like another social platform that so many of us aren't taking advantage of. And it's where you would go to manage your, you know, your reviews, and your messages, but also your hours, especially at this key time. And this really cool place called Post. If you're posting on Facebook once a week or 5 times a week, if we can get you to do more than that here at Social School, you can have our permission all day long to copy paste that into Google My Business. You can post an offer. You can do, you know, really cool updates, photos, etc. That, if nothing else. And then what happens? Well, when we search for you, we find you with your really rich snippets on the side of your Google listing. Oops, I went to Helsum's site. But if we were to see what Nick and his brilliant team have done, we can see that they get additional functionality in their Google listing. And lots of information, not because they've coded it, even though they probably could because they're smart, but just because they've shown up in Google My Business, they've given Google more information about them, and now they've got all sorts of page 1 listings and rankings and just presence. So again, there's things we got to pay for, and there's others that are just no brainer. Claim this now and get your stake on the internet a little clearer. Okay, enough from me. Let's hand it over now to Emily from Tea Kombucha. I was just admiring the heck out of her spectacular site. I believe this is Squarespace, but she's going to fill us in. And Wild Tea did this incredible pivot where they launched this beautiful online store really, really quickly in the last few weeks. So I'm going to toss it over to Emily, and she's going to take us through that.
Hi, everyone. It's myself and Beth Allison, our marketing manager.
We're trying to maintain social distance in the workplace, so we're each gonna like pop in, pop out.
Yeah. Okay. Working on our core.
I'm just gonna share our presentation here. 1 second.
Okay. So yes, Kelly and Scott and Nick, you guys can all help us because I feel like you all have very applicable tools that we could use and implement in our business. So we are Wild Tea Kombucha. We are a kombucha company based out of Calgary. We have 3 core flavors. 2 of them are non-alcoholic and 1 of them is now alcoholic. And we were debating how we could stay current and what we could do to keep our business going. And then the COVID-19 happened and it kind of was a catalyst for everything. So through our various accelerator programs, ATDX, there's Arlene Dickinson's District Ventures, there's also the TAP Accelerator program we were part of. So all of these things have been a great place to meet people, build your network, engage with other like-minded businesses, and just build a friendship and communicate. We have also worked with a lot of government people from Alberta to federal who have been also very helpful. So again, get to know your government staffs. And when we decided to launch this store, it was a very quick turnaround, which Beth will elaborate on. And it simply went from a text with a bunch of our friends that we had, again, just like-minded businesses, and then it snowballed from there.
So yeah, seeing an opportunity and pivoting and launching kind of as quickly as we can. So Wild Tea Kombucha, we do most of our business direct to retail or direct with our distributor. So you can find us at most of the big grocery here in Calgary and throughout Western Canada. So Sobeys and Safeways, and also more independent shops as well. And due to kind of like the logistical challenges of our products, so we have glass bottles, they're heavy, it needs to be refrigerated. We hadn't really explored e-commerce in too much depth before, and our main focus was just on building the retail side of our business. I was working on a ordering portal, but it was for our wholesale customers, and it was like password protected and all that, so it wasn't really intended for end consumer. So fast forward, we're at March 16th. The social distancing measures were announced, and we had closed our little tack room that we have here at our facility. And we thought, okay, well, why don't we just put it out on our Instagram and our Facebook? So this is the little post that went out on our Instagram. It's pretty basic. Just, you know, we were asking people to email us or DM us their orders, and we would give them free curbside delivery throughout the city. So we were like, we put it out, and we were really shocked by how many orders we got that week, and we were kind of overwhelmed, which is a good thing. But it was clunky. People had to email us. We were emailing back and forth. We had to call them to get their credit card information. Like, that's not efficient at all. But what it did establish is that there was a bit of a demand there. So from that point, over the weekend, pretty much in my pajamas, I took that portal that we built for our wholesale customers and turned it into something that would be for an e-commerce use and for direct customers. And I will say that our site is built on Squarespace, and we've used just the commerce plugin with Squarespace. It's not perfect. I'll say that for sure. I have a long to-do list on my desk of things that I'd like to do with our little e-commerce site. But what it is doing is it's helping us connect Calgarians with a lot of different local food and beverage companies in Calgary. And I think that's kind of like, that was the bigger picture of what we were looking for. And, you know, you don't have to be an expert. You can kind of launch these things quickly and they'll work. Mm-hmm. So we have some top tips, hot tips for you.
Yes, so I think some of the biggest things is just to be kind and to be genuine, and that you can be in business and still build community. So A, and then B, also just to dream big. So know the difference between a dream and a plan is to have tentative steps and timelines. So hold yourself accountable, especially even if it's just putting your pants on every day. give yourself the small steps just to get things done, and then surround yourself with people who are awesome. So we knew that we had the space, we had the resources, we had the storage facility, and that's why we reached out to all of our friends who we knew that were potentially missing out on orders, because basically all of the restaurants are closed, as we know, and a lot of the outlets that we and our friends typically sell are closed. So it was very nice to have the positivity and just launch quickly. And it is a race, and like Kelly said, people want it now. They're very high maintenance, and so we did our best. Beth did her best just to get everything going. So back to Beth.
Yeah, and I think to that point too is like launch quickly. Are we getting tired of this yet? In and out.
Yeah.
Launch quickly, and you can fix it later, right? Fix it as it goes. Yeah, and just leverage your network opportunities and social media. So we've been incredibly fortunate to have had a lot of help getting the word out, and we were on the news last week, and it's been just really amazing to see kind of like that snowball effect of when you're doing something that's positive and for others that people are really wanting to hear those feel-good stories right now.
Yeah.
And like Emily mentioned, start from a place of kindness and gratitude, and amazing things will happen. And this is just really ingrained in what we do here at Wild Tea Kombucha. We're just trying to always make sure that we're making decisions and doing things out of kindness.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's important to lift each other up. Sorry, I got half a face here. It's important to lift each other up. And yes, you guys are all members of the Calgary community. You know that the YYC is a small but mighty. And so from your designers to your website to your social media, it's just important to embrace all of the people in your life. So.
And I'm going to mention as well that we are still accepting vendors on our site. We're adding new ones every week. And so if you are a food or beverage company and you think you'd be a great match to our site, please reach out to us. My email is here. Write it down and let us know. We'd love to chat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys. That was great. If you've got additional questions, we're going to toss it back to Megan from CED. But really wonderful to hear some of those stories. I think that, well, some of us can't even understand how quickly people have pivoted, and it's amazing to see it, and it's possible, as Emily and Beth can both attest. So I just wanted to say final thoughts here. If you need anything, as Chad just mentioned in the chat, he's going to be sending out these presentations, but so much gratitude to Calgary Economic Development. I know they're doing everything they can to help both existing businesses and then the future of our business community. So I'm going to toss it back over to Megan, and she's going to facilitate a Q&A.
Thank you, Kelly. Kelly, Nick, Scott, Beth, and Emily, this has been really enjoyable for me to listen to, and I know some of my Calgary Economic Development colleagues are on the line as well, and I just want to say this is why we do what we do, and it's really a pleasure to serve you as Calgary business owners and leaders, and all of you on the phone. This is just a great example of how this community comes together, and why we're so fortunate in the Calgary Economic Development Chair to be working with all of you. So thank you. I kind of want to tear up a little bit. It's just so awesome. And so, yeah, there was a few minutes left. I know there's been some questions throughout the chat, which is great. And all of our speakers have been engaging. If anyone wants to real time see their faces as they're answering your questions, you can submit those now. But certainly the follow-up from Calgary Economic Development, all of our attendees today will be all these resources, all the slides that were shared with you. I know there was some great information from all the speakers, and you probably couldn't write fast enough. So we'll make sure you have all those resources, and any follow-up questions you have for Calgary Economic Development. If you want to know more about our work or what we're doing, or questions, there were some questions submitted that were outside of the e-commerce topic today. Calgary Economic Development will follow up with you on that. So I hope everybody on the line feels like they're supported in this journey. We know it's a difficult time for all of you, but we are definitely in this together, and that you have all these people behind you that want to support you. And to all of our speakers, you've provided some great resources and free services that are very timely, which is really, really important right now. So I hope everyone will be able to take advantage of those. And Beth and Kelly, your story is heartwarming, Beth and Emily, and it's just nice to be able to hear from somebody that's in the trenches, so other companies know how quickly they can pivot as you have, and also take advantage of your store if that would work for them. Just checking the chat here to make sure there's nothing that's come in. Lots of thank yous, lots of love, which is great. So we can end it there. We know everybody's time is valuable, and now you all need to go and Google my business and build your page. So we'll let you get on with it, and watch for the follow-up email from me. And thank you to all my friends in the background chat and Jen, making sure all the technology ran. I'm pretty happy. It was very smooth. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Supporting you. Be strong. Bye.
Bye.